All right, good morning, guys. Today we are going to be talking about nutrient labels. Okay, so we're going to be able to better understand how to make a good food choice, right? We've been talking a lot about nutrients, and now we are going to be able to look at our favorite foods and decide, does this have a lot of nutrients? Is this nutrient dense? Is this a good choice? Or does this have a lot of that added sugar or some of that bad fats in it? So we're going to be going through and looking at our food and deciding if it's a good choice. Okay, so we are going to jump right in, and no warm up today. We're just going to go right to our in-class assignment. So on our Canvas page, and I'm going to be going back and forth between seeing me and me showing you our screen today. So on our screen up here is our notes. Okay, so okay, there it goes. So we are talking about the nutrient label. Okay, today's in-class assignment will be majority of our notes. We will use the following website to go through the notes, and the video will guide you. So this is the video. We're going to click on this website here in just a second, but first I want you to make a copy of this Google Doc on your computer, okay? Because you're going to be able to use that on your test. So you're going to click this link. Okay, when you click on that link, then this paper up here, this is going to come up, right? You want to save a copy of this. So you'll go to File, okay, and then where there should be a Save button on there for you guys somewhere, because it's, oh, Make a Copy. That's what you want, Make a Copy. So you'll click this Make a Copy button. You'll title it, not Copy of a Nutrition, label it, title it your name or something, or, you know, Miss Johnson's nutrient fact label, and then hit OK so that you have your own copy to write on. Okay, so we're going to start off by looking at our food label, and obviously we're clicking on our link. So when you click on that link, you're getting to this interactive nutrition facts label. Okay, so we are right here, and we are going to pick a food. So I want you to go to your pantry and pick a food that you would like to do. I stopped at the store this morning and bought some Captain Crunch because it's my kids' favorite, so I figured they could have that as a little cheat meal. So I'm going to use the nutrient label on my Captain Crunch. I also bought, while I was there, a bag of potato chips, and so I'll probably also kind of go through this one just to show you the differences and show you some serving sizes. So I want you guys to pick something out of your pantry that you're curious about, something maybe that you eat frequently, but we need something that has a nutrient label on it. So no apples or grapes or bananas. If you have nothing at home that has a nutrient label on it, or if you can't find something, or you're really curious about a specific food and you don't have it at home, you can go to Calorie King, and maybe I'll put that up on our Canvas page. I don't have it up there right now, but I put it up here. So Calorie King. All right, so if you just type in www.calorieking, it'll bring you to this food search, and then you can search whatever you want. Maybe you're interested in McDonald's, all right? And your search. It is not searching for me, is it? Maybe we can, there we go. Okay, so if you were interested in McDonald's chicken nuggets, right, with no sauce, it will give you the nutrient label. So it kind of tells you the amount of calories up here, and then your nutrient label is right here. So if there is something that you're super curious about, you can type it into Calorie King to come up with your label. Okay, so Calorie King is a great place to check out certain foods and see how they stack up. Okay, so that is another option if you don't have a nutrient label at home. Okay, all right, so we are going to be going through our label here, and we are going to just be answering the questions together as we go. When we're done, there's also a few little notes that we'll go through and kind of talk about. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can, holding my iPad up is getting difficult, so I wanted to see if I could find a stand to put this on here. Not quite high enough. Let's try something else. Okay. One more. Okay. And maybe just one more thing will help get us over the edge here. Okay, sorry about this little delay. All right. Okay, pretty good. So we are looking at this. So it says, what is the serving size of your product? Okay, so as you're looking at your nutrition label, you will find it on here. Okay, so if I'm looking at mine right here, my serving size is 1 cup. Okay, and in this box, there is about 15 total servings per the container. So for the whole container, there's about 15 cups of cereal in here. So I wanted to show you what 1 cup of cereal looks like so that you can kind of get a better judgment of these portion sizes. And we're really going to talk about portion sizes more tomorrow. But I wanted to kind of give you an idea of what this looked like. So I'm going to get my measuring cup and I'm going to get a plate out over here. So that, okay, so, all right, that's our cup. That's it. So if you see the 1 cup, oh, maybe a little bit more. Maybe I can put in a little bit more. Maybe I'm not quite at 1 cup yet. It looks like the 1 cup is up there. I'm a little bit lower than that. So there we go. Okay, now I'm up at the 1 cup mark. So that's the amount of cereal. That's a serving size of cereal. Okay, so if you were to dump that out on a plate, that is what it looks like. That's it. Okay, this is not a ton of cereal. So it does cover the whole plate, but these are small paper plates. If you were to pour this into a bowl, which I don't have, it would not fill it up. Okay, so that's 1 serving size of cereal. So all the stuff that we look at today is talking about only 1 serving size. The same thing with our chips. Okay, if you're looking at this serving size of chips, there's 10 servings per container. Serving size that what you should have is 15 chips, right? So that's all you get is 15 of these chips. So when you open this up and you count that out, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. This is the total amount of chips that you're getting, okay? There's 15 chips on there. That's it. That's all. That's the entire serving, okay? So when you look at the nutrient label, it's super important to keep in mind the portion size, right? Because if you eat 30 chips, right, or 50 chips, you are doubling or tripling the serving size of chips, which means you're doubling or tripling the number of calories and other things that are in this item, the added sugars and all of that stuff, okay? So that is the first thing. So what is the serving size of your product? So you're gonna write that down, type that in. Mine was 1 cup, right? So I would be typing in 1 cup, okay? How many servings per container are there? So on my box, it had said there was 15 servings. So 15 servings. So you're looking at yours and you're typing that in, okay? Why is it important to know? So I just kind of told you why we would want to know, because if you're eating more than 1 serving, you're doubling and tripling the amount of calories, right? So filling in that answer. All right, we're checking the calories. How many calories are in our product, okay? So if I'm looking at my Captain Crunch here, the cereal alone is 150 calories. If I am adding milk, okay, this is with 2/3 a cup of A&D fortified milk, that's the calories, right? But this right here, 150 calories for every 1 serving. So I have 150 calories, so I'd be typing that in on my next line, right? How many calories are from fat? So it might not tell you how many calories from fat are on your product. Neither one of these items that I have will tell you. So it might not be listed, and that's okay. You can leave it blank. So I'm going to leave it blank because I don't have, that's not listed on my, that's not listed on any of my food. It is a good thing to know simply so that you can see how much of the product is fat. right? If half the calories are coming from fat, that's an extremely high fat food, right? So if 150 calories are is the total calories and 75 of those came from fat grams, that would be a red flag, right? I would say, oh my gosh, this has a ton of fat calories, which means the majority of this product is fat. Okay, so we want to be very careful and limit that fat intake, right? Some fat is good fats, but we want to limit the intake of some of those saturated fats. Okay, so as we kind of come down here, general guidelines for calories, right? 40 calories is considered low. 100 calories is considered moderate. So 150 calories in this serving, this would be a moderate. When we're getting up to 250 to 350, that's considered moderate to high. Over 400 is too much, okay, it's too high. If there's 400 calories per serving, that would be a little bit too high. That would be a whoa, let's rethink this food, or maybe we only have this food on special occasions, okay? So if we're looking at our chips, it's the same 150 calories per serving, okay? But if you're eating 30 chips, you're up to 300, which is that moderate high. Same if you're eating 2 servings of cereal. Okay, all right, so moving through here, based on the guidelines above, is one serving of your product low, moderate, or high in calories? So mine would be moderate, right? So I would be in the moderate side. Okay, so limit these nutrients. Health experts recommend that you keep your intake of saturated fat, trans fat, and cholesterol as low as possible as part of a nutritionally balanced diet. How much fat does your product have? Okay, how much saturated fat? How much cholesterol? That's that artery clogging material. Okay, so that's all listed on your list here. Okay, so you have your total fat. Mine has 2 grams. Saturated fat is 0.5. Okay, it does also list some different types of fats. These are some of those unsaturated fats that we talked about that are not quite as bad for you. And then there's the cholesterol. Okay, so if you're looking down, it has no cholesterol, which is good. Fat was 2 grams, saturated fat was 0.5. Okay, so that's what I would be filling in on my paper. Okay, so find yours on your label and then fill that in on your paper. All right, so 2 grams of fat. I had 0.5 of saturated fat, and the cholesterol was also 0. Okay. How much sodium? Sodium is salt. Does our product have? So this is also one of those things that we're limiting. So we want to be limiting added sugar. We want to be limiting sodium. And that is something that is new, that is on the things. And I'm going to actually add that right onto our list, because this is an old paper and they changed the food labels this year. Because of the dietary guidelines. Okay, so how much added sugar does your product contain? So we're going to be looking at sodium and then added sugar. Okay, so they changed it. They did not used to have this added sugars right here. Okay, so this is a really big addition to the food label. So we're really glad that they added that, because we want to limit those things. So we're limiting total fat, we're limiting cholesterol, we're limiting sodium, and we are also limiting added sugars. Okay, so 17 grams of added sugar is a ton, right? It's 33% of your daily total, and we'll talk about these in just a minute, which is a lot. So 17 grams of added sugar. Sodium, I had 290 milligrams of sodium. And let's type those in. So look at how much sodium or salt yours has. So mine had 290, and my sugar was 17 grams. All right, now we're talking about these vitamins and minerals that we want to make sure we get enough of. Okay, eating enough of these nutrients can improve your health and help reduce the risk of some disease and conditions. So vitamin A, vitamin C, calcium, iron, fiber, those things are all listed on our nutrient list. Okay, they've added this year potassium and a few other minerals. Potassium, remember we talked about helping with those Charlie horses, and magnesium. So they're adding on the product label more minerals so that you have a better idea of how many minerals you are intaking, which is great so that you know if it's a more nutrient dense food. Okay, so the labels are the best way for you to be able to look at your food and say, hey, this is great, right? It's got these minerals, it's got these vitamins. Okay, so when we look at this cereal here, and this cereal actually lists a lot of vitamins and minerals, and not all of them do that. We talked about vitamin D the other day. We talked about calcium, right? Iron, and then they're listing potassium now. So you guys are gonna find your items, right? Find the things on here that we're looking for. And you know what? I actually think with the new thing, they changed the vitamins from vitamin A and C to vitamin D and B6. So that is actually on, and I think it's optional now for them to list vitamin A and C. So we will change our vitamins on our paper. So let's look up vitamin B6 and vitamin D. If those aren't listed, which they should be on the new labels, then you can do vitamin A and vitamin C and just leave it on your paper. You can just change it, right? Just kind of like how I'm changing it as we go. So I had on here vitamin B6, well, vitamin D, there's none, right? Calcium, none. Iron, there is a little bit, so, or actually quite a bit, 40% of our daily value. That's pretty high, 7.5%. And then vitamin B6 is 0.4, which is also pretty high at 25%. So we'll type those in, and then we also were looking at fiber. So you're finding your dietary fiber on there, which mine is less than a gram. Okay. All right. So you're typing those in on your product. I did not type them in order to keep the video a little bit shorter. Okay. So there's also a little footnote at the bottom of your nutrient labels frequently. Okay. So it will tell you that how much of a product you should have, although this nutrient label does not seem to have it. So I'm going to copy it and paste it and put it on our paper here. I wonder if our McDonald's one has the percent daily values. Nope. Okay, so I will copy and paste that and put that on our thing. So I'm going to Google that really quick. But what the percent daily values are is it tells you how many grams you should be eating of like fat, percent daily values. Okay, so what it's going to tell you is how many, let me see if I can find a quick image here, how many like fat grams specifically you should be eating in a day and how many grams of carbohydrates you should be getting, so that you can look at this and know. You're like, okay, I'm allowed to have this many grams, right? And it's also what the percent tells you, this percent daily value. So this is only 2% of your whole day. You get 100% in the day. So after you eat one serving of this, you would have 98% more fat grams that you would be allowed to consume in a healthy diet, right? So for carbohydrates, this is 33 grams, which is 12%, okay? So you have 88% of carbohydrate calories or carbohydrate grams that you could eat, okay? So that is something that, okay, so here is a nice picture. So, all right, so it tells you right here, 65 in a 2,000 calorie diet, 65 grams, or actually less than, right? Less than 20 grams of saturated fat, 300 milligrams of cholesterol, less than 2,400 milligrams of sodium, carbohydrates, and then you want to have at least this many of your dietary fiber, okay? So those are based on a 2,000 calorie diet like we had talked about. So I'm gonna copy that and paste it and put it into our, thing. Let's see if I can do that. I'll figure that out in just a minute. So I'm going to put that in here so that you guys can look at it, okay? So based on a 2,000 calorie diet, how much should you consume of the following, okay? So if we're basing it on a 2,000 calorie diet, we're going to go back to that image, 65 grams of fat, right? If we're basing it saturated fat, back to this image, you get 20 grams. Okay. If we're going cholesterol, you get less than 300 milligrams. And sodium, you get less than 2,400 milligrams. So that's how many based on this 2,000 calorie diet. And a lot of times this is on your food label. Oops, sorry. I wasn't even paying attention. A lot of times that's on your food label, but it's not on either one of the items that I have. So it's just good to know. And then carbohydrates and dietary fiber are down there also, which are also going to be on this. And I'm going to copy and paste that and put it on before you ever get to this assignment. So that will be on your paper, so you'll be able to, I'll have that up here so that you guys can see that, okay? All right, last thing, percent daily values are the percentages of your daily limits if you're looking to get 100% in a day, right? So we're looking to get 100% in a day. When you're looking at anything, 5% daily value or less would be considered low. 20% daily value or more is considered high. Okay, so we want to kind of be between those two limits, right? With fat, obviously the lower the better. This guide lets you know that 5% daily value or less is low for all nutrients. For those you want to limit, like fat, saturated fat, cholesterol, and sodium, you're looking to stay closer to this, right? For those you want to consume in greater amounts, fiber, calcium, any vitamins and minerals, you're looking to try to get to that 20%, right? So the more that you can consume of those, the better. All right, what percent daily value does your product have of the following? So you're just going to look at your label again, and the percentages are right next to it, okay? So the percent daily value, the percent daily values are right here, so all the way down as you're looking at it. So the highest one that's over 20, right, is the sugars. And then dietary fiber is less than 3, so we want to try to keep that by about 5, right? So that we know that it has more of those good nutrients, okay? Sodium is kind of right in the middle, so that's not too bad. Fat grams are pretty low, so that's pretty good. And then it tells you some of these vitamins and minerals down here have 25%, 30%, so some of that is really good, right? Folic acid, we're at 50%, so that it does have some vitamins in there. Even though it has a ton of extra sugar, right? Which is why these cereals would be considered a sweet instead of something healthy for you, okay? All right, so you're filling in those percent daily values, and there's a bunch of them on there, so you just kind of look through those. Again, I'm gonna change these. If yours lists vitamin A and C and you wanna change it back, that's fine. But if not, then we're going to leave them at vitamin B6 and vitamin D because I know those are on the new labels. Okay. At the very bottom, you have an ingredient list. And even on the one here on My Calorie King, it gives you the ingredients. Okay. The thing listed first is the thing there is the most of in the product. All right. So when you're looking at your ingredients down here, the thing that's listed first, so corn flour, but then look what's next, sugar, right? So there is the second most thing in here is sugar, right? And remember I kind of told you that sugar could be listed in different ways. I'm not sure, well, it's listed again as brown sugar on here, okay? So there is all kinds, and then salt obviously is sodium. So you can look at your ingredient list and see if there's any. Now, potato chips might not have any sugar. So, in fact, they only have a couple ingredients, which is, right, so potatoes, right, vegetable oil, and then it contains one or more of the following, so lots of different oils, and those oils is where the fat comes from. So, if you're looking at this, these are significantly more fat, right, 9 grams of fat, 12% of your daily value. So, this is getting up a little bit higher in that fat category. So that's kind of where potato chips go wrong, is that they are high in fat. Okay, so back to our paper. All right, so which ingredient does your product have the most of? So my product has the most corn flour, okay? Does your product contain any other forms of sugar listed as a different ingredient? So I'll put on here some different things so that you guys know. but mine does because it's listed first as sugar and then it's listed again as brown sugar. So those are both forms of sugar. All right, based on all the information, write a few sentences as to why you think your product is either healthy or unhealthy. Okay, so you're gonna just type in a couple sentences down here why you think your product is healthy or unhealthy. Okay, and I know we did not go through this this website right here. It is on there and it can help you significantly. It goes through what's on the label, so you can, if you want more information about any of these things, all these things that we talked about, you can go to this website and it will help kind of walk you through and talk about each of these things and help kind of give you an idea of whether foods are healthy or unhealthy. I meant to kind of go back and forth to that, but I got excited about what I was talking about and then I forgot. All right, we have just a little bit more. I know this is kind of getting long, but back on our Canvas page, okay, there's a couple things to just wrap it up. So how do we choose nutrient-rich foods? How do we choose a nutrient-rich diet every day, right? Drink water. That's number one, because sodas and Hawaiian punches and lemonades and sugar teas, sweet teas, they have tons of extra sugar, which we don't need. So we're aiming for water, okay? We're eating a nutrient-rich breakfast. Try to start off your day with fruits and vegetables, okay? Be aware of those portion sizes, right? We don't want to eat more than we need. Lots of fruits and vegetables and plenty of whole grains. If we're picking a carbohydrate, we're trying to pick something that's 100% whole grain. Cut down on those high in added sugar and fat, which now you guys know how to find out if they're high in added sugar and fat. Eat smaller, well-balanced meals, and we're going to go over my plate tomorrow, so we'll have that as a guide. And then last, increase that daily activity. All right, guys, really good. Thanks for staying with me. I know the video got a little bit long, but hopefully you learned some things. If you have questions, make sure you let me know. All right, have a great day. Bye, guys.